Frank. Hello, guys. Welcome to Nutmegs and VR. My name is Clinton. With me here is
Imran Ibrahim.
an Arsenal fan. So I think we're going to have some interesting discussion today here at Nutmegs. And one of the things we want to discuss about today is actually something that doesn't concern us, but we also have to discuss it.
It's a football show, so we have to talk about everything.
You just want to put our nose somewhere that we're not supposed to, but also it's something that we have to discuss.
Yes.
Of the news that Chelsea sacked their manager yesterday. What do you think about that first? Do you think it's something that was coming, or?
It was coming.
Yeah.
They've broken, since 1912, Chelsea has never lost 5 games in a row without scoring a goal.
That was like since the Titanic.
It's more than 100 years.
That is more than 100 years. Without scoring.
Without scoring, losing 5 games on the trot without scoring. That was unheard of. So that run of form wasn't going to last. Because Chelsea is a big club and they've invested a lot of money in their squad. We can discuss if the squad is good enough or not good enough, but one thing we can say is that they have invested a lot. Chelsea is a team that has spent, I was looking at a table that was showing how much has been spent by these top teams since, I think, 2015. And Chelsea is leading.
They've spent 2 billion. Yeah, because I think the what has hacked that price specifically, the Caicedo deal and the Enzo Fernandez, the Morata.
Remember Mudryk? Do you remember Mudryk? You haven't seen him.
Yeah,
Mudryk is still their player.
They spent 75.
Yeah.
I think 75.
So they have spent a lot of money on different players, and most of it hasn't worked out, honestly. So when you look at that and you start considering the fact that this is a league that demands results, and if the results aren't there, then
you're gone.
Why are we keeping you? So we just have to I get why they decided to sack him, but then again you ask yourself, they sacked Enzo Maresca, who was doing quite well. They're one of their best managers in recent years, out of the managers that they've been signing and sacking every single year. So they sacked him too, which was a bad decision.
And actually didn't agree. I didn't agree with the move of replacing Liam with Maresca. Because you look at
Maresca with Liam.
Yeah, with Liam. Because you look at Maresca and then Liam and you ask yourself, is Maresca bad manager compared to Liam? There's no anything that was.
They didn't sack Maresca due to bad results. They sacked Maresca due to the fact that they weren't like on the same page. Maresca wanted centre backs. Proven centre backs. He wasn't given that. And that hindered his team's progress. And thus it made him start questioning the people above.
Yeah.
And when they were questioned, they were like, nah, you can't question us. We are the owners.
We're the owners, and we're the owners of the project.
Exactly. We can literally push you away and we can sign someone else. And then they went and brought their puppet.
Who actually was in their sister club.
Sister club in Strasbourg. So they decided to do that. One of the things that I think they're going to learn, these new leaders in Chelsea, is that running a football club is hard, especially these top teams. And you can't just play around and act like this is an American franchise where you can just do anything you want. Running a football club in Europe, especially one of the top 6 sides, is hard, and you need to literally have a proper idea on how to run it and take it to the next level.
But basically, when you look at the American owners, even around Europe, apart from just Chelsea itself, AC Milan, Man United, partly they owned by the Americans. They kind of don't do well. Even there's a one who was owning Lyon and Botafogo who had an issue.
Yeah,
I don't know if you read about that, where he was involved in some illegal player sales and interchanging between the clubs that he was owning.
Yeah.
So I think the American owners really need to look.
Arsenal is owned by an American, the Kroenke family.
But before that, they were out there. They struggled until they came. There's this one, the son of the owner of the Arsenal. I think is the one who really bring a lot of change.
Because the thing is, I think with Arsenal, it was more about the fact that they wanted full ownership of the club. Because at that particular time, it was them and I think Usmanov, if I'm not wrong, the Russians. And that was like a bit of like push and pull. So they weren't able to like put money and sign the players that Arsenal needed at the time. But when they got full ownership of the club, Josh
brought Josh in.
Yeah, Josh decided to take over because he was the one who was running some of the other franchises in the US, because they still own an NBA team, the Denver Nuggets, who are also, they won the championship. They own an NFL team, Rams, who won the Super Bowl. So what they've shown is when they invest in these particular teams, they get results in terms of winning. So one of the most bizarre things now, I think, as they're going to find, like it's going to be difficult for them, is the fact that they've been investing a lot in Arsenal and the silverware is not there yet. So that's going to be a topic we'll discuss. But at least one thing I can say is that about the Kroenke family is that they're doing what's best for Arsenal. Like they've been investing. Like we look at the last few windows for us, we've been spending the upwards of like 150 million almost every single summer transfer window. So we are good in that department.
Who do you think they should? What do you think Arsenal should strengthen this summer?
This summer, it's about quality. It's like because I think for us, again, it's going to be dependent on how many players we'll be releasing and what trophies, if we are to win any trophies. How many players are we going to release?
Because I think this is my prediction that Ben White, I think his time at Arsenal is.
Yeah, there are going to be a lot of players who are going to be pushed away from the club. Gabriel Jesus, Ben White, probably Gabriel Martinelli, Jesus, one of them, either Martinelli or Trossard, both of them.
And one of the parts people need to strengthen is the attack. Because I feel defensively, Arsenal is the best team I've watched play without the ball.
Even City, sign an extra
even City are good, but I don't think they're that perfect or elite in terms of how they defend.
City, it's because they press, but defensively, City have holes every single time. If you watched yesterday's game against Burnley, actually, they won 1-0. Burnley actually had a lot of chances. If Fleming, their striker, was like in good form, he probably would have scored a goal or two, because he had some really, really good chances. Because they play a high line, like kind of like the Barcelona one. So they can't be vulnerable.
But I think the Barcelona one is
it's too much, because they don't know when to stop. They do it in so many different variations and different ways, and they just stay true to their.
So let's look at identity. Let's look at the record for Liam Rosenior at Chelsea. He managed 23 games, 11 wins, 2 draws, 10 losses.
Imagine.
That is crazy.
For a club like Chelsea, that's unacceptable. Because I don't think if Abramovich was there, the guy, I think, would have been.
Oh my goodness!
I was reading some comments from Chelsea fans. They were bantering, saying if it was Abramovich, should probably have been assassinated, because that's unacceptable from him. 5 games in a row without scoring even a goal, and you're losing all of them.
If Abramovich sacked Mourinho, who is Liam for him? Like for him, he will just go in that dressing room and just say, "Oh man." There's a video where Obi Mikel did a shot and this podcast, and he was saying that whenever they saw Abramovich coming to the training ground with a helicopter, they knew the manager was gone. Like that was the norm. Whenever he saw and just see him going to his office, they just knew the manager was gone. And Chelsea also have a record, have a kind of a history of sabotaging managers. And actually, about Obi Mikel, in so many instances, have said they sabotaged Di Matteo, because Di Matteo prioritized young guys ahead of the leaders like John Terry and Lampard. And they said, you have to go. Benitez didn't get along with John Terry, and John Terry was the captain. Yes. So John Terry is sitting on the bench, and then he doesn't have any explanation. So they sacked him. And also, the thing was that Abramovich used to talk with the players direct. Like, he used to ask them, like the leaders, John Terry, Drogba, Lampard, and the likes of Obi Mikel. He could ask them, what do you think? Are you comfortable with him?
Yeah.
If they say no, you're gone.
'Cause,
Like he doesn't care.
He never played. And I think most Chelsea fans are really, really missing him. As they say, the UK government sabotaged Chelsea. Because they're the ones who actually made
another record is 7 losses in last 8 matches.
Exactly.
That is so bad. Sucked. So
the only win they got was the FA Cup against Port Vale, where they won 7-0. Which is bizarre.
But apart from that, we can't just finish that topic on Liam and just say that he's not a good manager. I can put him categorically with Ruben Amorim.
I don't think he's.
No,
he's
in this aspect,
don't think he's in Ruben Amorim's league.
I think in this aspect that they're still young managers, and I think it was too soon for them to jump the ship.
Personally, me for Ruben Amorim, and Ruben is way better than Liam Rosenior. Way better. Ruben Amorim, for his style of play, he didn't have the right players at Manchester United, and with that still, by the time Michael Carrick came to United, United were 5th in the league.
I know.
We keep forgetting. We're acting like
you're one point away from top 4.
Yeah, we know when you talk about Carrick and when you talk about Ruben Amorim, I know he had some of his flaws, but it's not like he was 10th or 11th or 12th. No, he was 5th by the time when he was let go by United. So Ruben Amorim.
But with him continuing, do you think we could have been where we are?
Probably yes, in a way.
Think so.
Honestly, I don't
think we could have done better than what we were doing.
One of the things that United excel at is the fact that they have a very potent attack, and that wouldn't have changed because he was still gonna play Ahmad. He was still gonna play Mbeumo. He's not gonna play Cunha, and he's still gonna play Fernandes. And Fernandes was giving the same numbers Fernandes is doing right now. He was doing them when.
I don't.
He was doing them.
The only thing, as a United fan, I can appreciate Amorim for is that at least he left us better than the place he got us. Because compare before when he came, even the terms, the quality of the squad we had the lot of Garnacho, Sancho, who are not.
Yeah, he didn't want them, all of them. Rashford.
And so in that kind of terms, he really improved. He left something that even Carrick was able to build on. Maybe just what Carrick came and did and was just play the players in the right position.
Yeah, and
even when you look at the tactically, it's not that different from what Amorim was doing. It's just some adjustment here and there.
Yeah, and playing for the back and all that. So I think it's an insult to Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim is someone who won the Portuguese league, and he had a really, really insane team that was also really good in the Champions League. Liam Rosenior has Strasbourg, and kudos to him. He was able to make Strasbourg play well, but not to the level as Ruben Amorim and Sporting Lisbon. So Ruben Amorim, honestly, for me, I really, really rate Ruben Amorim to some extent. He just didn't have. He was very intent, he was very fixated with his idea, and he was I'm not going to change.
He was not able to kind
away
of
from them,
adjust in maybe some games that maybe it just needed some adjustment to win those games.
So that was his main flaw and his main problem. But I wouldn't say he didn't have the right ideas or he's a bad coach. No, you can't compare that to Liam Rosenior. Was doing some things that never really made sense. And when he was at his press conferences, he used to just speak big words for no reason.
So you think it was too soon for him to come to Chelsea?
Too soon.
Yeah. So we're gonna look at some of the options that Chelsea have
in terms of the next manager.
The next manager. Currently, they appointed the interim manager.
Yeah, the under-21 manager.
I don't know what this manager can do.
It's just to end the season because they're we can't sign a permanent manager at this point because it's 5 games remaining. So you can't really sign a permanent manager right now. All you can do is sign a manager who's gonna at least push you guys till the end of the season, and then you can start thinking about where are we going from here.
But I think I've heard that they're already starting negotiation with different options. Yeah. Andoni Raiola, who is leaving Bournemouth.
Yes.
There were some rumors that he could go back to Spain because his childhood club they sacked their manager. That is Valverde. So Valverde is Athletic Bilbao manager.
Yeah.
And he said he was leaving at the end of the season.
He's leaving, yeah.
Athletic this season have really performed poorly in La Liga.
Yeah, not like last season, yeah.
Yeah, they performed poorly. So he's leaving. Andoni Raiola made around 500 appearances for Athletic Club. So people have been linking him going back to
Probably, yeah.
Athletic Bilbao. But they're saying that the former Dortmund manager is the favorite to take over Athletic Bilbao. Edin Terzic.
Yeah.
The one who took Dortmund to Champions League final in 2024, I think.
Yes.
So Andoni Raiola is, I think, this is a kind of a job that might interest him to remain in the Premier League, to maybe coach better players compared to Bournemouth, see what he can do.
And also the money.
And also the money, because I think he's going to be offered around maybe 15 per season.
10 to 15 million. He can get that if he demands it, and if they really, really want him. They might give it to him.
What do you think about that?
Andoni Raiola, I mean, I usually have I don't know, I'm very
conscious,
yeah, that's the right word. With managers who excel in these small teams and then they jump ship to the big teams. More often than not, what we usually see is the fact that
the level
usually sometimes scare them. Like it surprises them, because like the demand level, the fan base, like everything is literally
it's higher level. The media attention,
the magnitude of managing a club like Bournemouth and Chelsea is
the expectation.
It's crazy,
because maybe in Bournemouth you can lose like 5 in 7 and they're just okay. As long as we are safe.
As long as you are safe, you're good. But
just
for Chelsea, 2 games in a row, it's insane.
If you lose maybe
the pressure is a lot.
They're already expected to win the 3rd game already.
Exactly.
You have to win it. So
doesn't matter which opponent. So I think those are the things that I'm always like cautious about. But in terms of ideas and a certain style of play, I think is really good.
It's really good.
Yeah. But personally, if I'm Chelsea, I'd go for Cesc Fabregas.
That is also another risk. All this
it's a risk,
have a
but
certain level of
one of the reasons why I think Cesc Fabregas is a good manager is, you look at the team he's coaching.
Yeah,
Italy Serie A is not
I've been able to watch some of Como's game, because I follow Serie A a lot, maybe more than the Premier League sometimes.
Yeah.
And the way he plays with the young players, that team,
it's really good.
So actually, what happened?
I think are probably fourth.
What happened at Como, and Fabregas talked about it, was that they realized that Italy does not produce young players. Like Italy doesn't have young technical players. So when you look at Como's team, first team, is full of Spanish players.
Yeah, Nico Paz.
So he went back to Spain, La Liga, looked for those young players with potentials who are technically good.
Yeah,
brought them to
Yes,
Sergio Roberto and all this.
Sergio Roberto, he also brought some veterans to like guide the new young players again.
So he brought these players in and then was able to form a team. And right now they're fighting for
Champions League, and they're going to get it. They played a really amazing game against Inter Milan like a few days ago in the cup competition, and
but Italy, there is only 4 teams are allowed to.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because it's
Juventus are 6 points ahead.
Inter leading.
Napoli. Then AC Milan. Then
it's them.
Juventus.
No, it's Como. Como are ahead of Juventus. Check the log.
I think Juventus is ahead because
Como are ahead of Juventus.
They drew, I think, over the weekend.
Yeah, I think Como are ahead of Juventus. As like the last time I saw the standing log, I reckon Como was.
So you're telling us about Fabregas and his ideology.
Yeah. And like one of the reasons why I like I absolutely love such managers is the fact that
Juventus are ahead 5 points.
5 points. So Como are 5th.
Como are 5th.
Oh, okay.
Because I think they lost the last game. Juventus won won the last 5 games.
So when I look at a manager like him, because I look at where Como was. Como was a team that I think 2 seasons ago
they were Division 4.
Exactly. Yeah. And since he was appointed, he's taken them up and he's literally, and then when he came to the big league, he already had his own ideas. Yeah. He already had his own plans in terms of the players that I'm gonna need for me to take this team to the next level.
The only team that has bullied him is Inter Milan. They have really beaten him this season.
Inter Milan, of course, they are the juggernauts of the league. So I think
really bullied in this season.
they understand, like he understands how, like he has his own ideas already. And there's some videos you watch on YouTube where he's being interviewed and he speaks about like his ideologies and all those things and how he manages players. It's really fascinating and insightful, and it shows, okay, this is a manager who knows exactly what he wants. It reminds me of like Arteta in some ways, in terms of like, I just need to make sure I need to bring a certain because for Chelsea right now, they need to build a certain, like, because now they don't have any sort of identity, and I think identity is the first thing that they need to build, and then from there they can now start in terms of like recruitment, and they need to be on the same page as a whole club. So, and I think that lacks right now for Chelsea.
One of the problem that I think any manager, even Fabregas, if Fabregas goes there in case, the problem is, I think the managers find it hard, or they kind of don't have an agreement in terms of the project, because the owners kind of are inclined to sign young players who they maybe wanna sell later, like Estevao, they wanna sell later for at a higher price. You get? But a coach like Maresca, for example, I think what was in his mind was like, if you people give me experienced players, I can actually compete in this league. I need better players. I need like 11 Caicedos in this team, right? Because Enzo really liked Caicedo, for example.
Yeah.
But Chelsea were like, no, we're gonna scout another talent in Brazil and then bring you.
From what I've heard is that they're gonna change a bit of their
strategy
in terms of like the signings. I heard it from one of their sources, from Chelsea sources. So I read it. So I think they of course they see the problem now. They kind of see the problem. These young players, as good as they are, you can't sign them, but you need to remember, like, as much as we are building for the future, the present is just as important, because now the fans are looking at, we're buying tickets to come watch our team compete. Chelsea is a team that has always competed for trophies. It's not like a team that builds and then they have to be patient.
The Kings of London.
They're not. They're not the Kings of London. That's what we all know.
The champions of London.
We all know who the Kings of London are.
They're the only team in London with Champions League title.
We have other ways of measuring. But anyways, we know one thing for sure is that they need a coach who's also can win trophies, a serial winner in terms. And you have to build a squad that can compete in the Premier League and can also win. And I think for me, Fabregas fits every single box in terms of a young manager who's well with young players and also can manage egos and also can be respected in the dressing room, because that's a player that in his playing time, because also that plays a huge part for players. How many midfielders there in Chelsea would say, oh, I had a better career than Fabregas when he was playing? No.
Or I was better than
exactly.
Fabregas.
So when he goes to them and he talks to them, this is a player he's also a legend there. Like, I don't think has the legendary status yet. He was given to it, but he won them 2 Premier League trophies. So
including being in the team that won the last Premier League for Chelsea.
Yeah. So he won it with Conte and he won it with Mourinho.
Another option is Xabi Alonso.
Yeah, Xabi Alonso also,
I think the Real Madrid tenure kind of affected his market value.
It's hard
and the hype.
It's very hard.
He's one of the managers who I really sympathized with when it didn't work out at Real Madrid, because before Real Madrid, everyone was like, the next big thing, the next Pep Guardiola or the next Mourinho, because he's been coached by all these managers. Actually, I think Xabi Alonso and Fabregas, they're the most complete in terms of the knowledge they have acquired from these managers, past managers of the best managers in the last generation, because they've been coached. Xabi Alonso have been coached by Ancelotti, have been coached by Pep Guardiola, have been coached by Mourinho, have been coached by who's this other manager at Liverpool, Benitez. All these managers who were good at their time or are still good right now.
It's only Pep who's still good. Ancelotti kind of, but I think that's still old fight. The football is learning away from
so I think Xabi Alonso, that Real Madrid's tenure kind of really affected
his stock.
His stock. I thought maybe this summer he was going to go to Liverpool, but also I've been hearing that Liverpool are keen at giving Slot another chance.
Which is
a big risk anyways, but I believe I think next season Liverpool are not going to be where they are this season.
Yeah, they'll be better. I
They're
reckon
going to
they will
perform
be.
better than
Yeah.
this season, and because also they are also in transition. One question I think I need to ask an Arsenal fan is how is Arsenal going to Arsenal going to handle transition? Because it's coming. This crop of players who have competed in the 4 seasons in a row, they're going to be time for transition the way City have gone through it. Liverpool are going through it also.
Because Liverpool went through it because of course the
Flop.
age also played a huge
age
role.
played.
Because you look at Salah's age. Arsenal, I'd say the only differences I'd say with us is that most of these players for us is that they were young
When
and
you
then they
bought them?
so they're still growing. You look at the likes of Saliba, Gabriel, they're all like under still 25.
How old is Saliba?
Saliba is like 25, 26.
27, but
No, I don't think he's going to 27. I don't think so. Those guys they are going to their peak actually. When you
Gabriel is almost 30, right?
Nah, Gabriel is not the old. He's not that old. He's probably 27.
But he looks so old, Bana.
He looks that way, but I don't think he's not old. So most of the players for Arsenal, I'd say they were young. So transition is coming.
he's only
but most of-
25. That's
Who?
William Saliba.
Saliba, yes, 25.
Wow.
Saliba
Don't
is
know.
25 and Gabriel is probably 26.
So you people are like maybe 3 years away from transition.
Yeah, in terms of we are going to our transition is coming on the attacking side.
Attacking side.
Attacking side definitely, because we have to when you look at it, it's like we are not attacking as how we were attacking a few years ago, and primarily some of the wide players that we have are literally going in a direction that we didn't predict a few years ago. You look at Martinelli, Saka with injuries now. Trossard is getting old.
I've actually
He's
been
probably one of
saying
the oldest
I've actually
players
been
in
saying the
in
last 2
attacking
seasons
side.
that you people need another right winger. Not because Saka is not that good, but you need someone who can make him also push
We
more.
thought Madueke was gonna be the one, but I think this thing about us Arsenal signing Chelsea players, I think
It needs
this
to
was the
stop.
last time.
And
These guys haven't been like Madueke disappoints
But
me.
they
Like
conned you. They even conned you Willian again. Remember Willian?
Yeah, it was 0 shillings. Okay, we didn't pay anything. About
David
it,
Luiz.
So I didn't. David Luiz, he had some good stints. At least David Luiz.
Peter
You can't
Cech.
compare. Peter Cech, he was so old, man. He was so old. Although he won the Golden Glove at with Arsenal. 15-16. Yeah, this season that unfortunately the Leicester.
But you
won the
people
league,
kind
we
of
won
got
the-
a washed Peter Cech.
Of course, we did get a washed Peter Cech. It's not the top goalkeeper. He's one of the best.
Let's go to
Premier League history.
Let's go to the next option, Marco Silva. That list.
Nah, not really. Again,
Fulham
same
upgrade.
thing. Marco Silva, not really. He's not gonna do much.
Felipe Luis, former
Felipe
Chelsea
Luis,
player.
that would be an interesting signing.
Flamingo to
Yeah, that would be an interesting. Personally, I wouldn't mind saying that. It would be an interesting signing.
Yeah, I think months ago people were talking about his tactical invention and how Flamingo were unique in terms
Exactly.
of how
That's
they
why
were
I'm saying it would be a very interesting signing.
Oliver Glasner.
Oliver Glasner, wouldn't mind it. Very skeptical again, but wouldn't mind it.
But anyway, even
interesting.
though we are looking at these options, we just pray at still they get some weak link, so that they can have another bad season, so that we can have another thing to be happy about.
banter time.
Yeah,
Banter to
another.
continue.
We wouldn't want them to get someone like Pep Guardiola or.
They wouldn't get it. Of course not.
So that is what it's in it. Chelsea. Let's wait. This summer there are so many managers in the market. Some clubs are looking like Man United.
We just hope to see.
Real Madrid will be looking.
Even Real Madrid will be signing, and as we saw from Real Madrid is that Jose Mourinho has told his agent to go talk to them and say that he's available.
That will be interesting based on what happened.
Yeah, it will be very interesting.
Because Real Madrid players were not happy with these words.
But at that particular time, after the game, with Vinicius and all that. But one thing I love about Mourinho is that he can control. Like he knows how to talk to players. He'll talk to Vinicius.
But the Real Madrid players have a lot of power. I always feel
they have a lot of power, but having a manager they will again, it's a matter of controlling the ego, managing the ego in the dressing room.
Do you think he'll win La Liga next season if he goes back to Real Madrid?
It's I don't know. I honestly wouldn't tell, because now he might, because of how one of the things that made him even win La Liga when it was him and Pep Guardiola is the fact that He knew,
counter-attack.
he played counter-attack and he knew how to utilize the players he had. So he can actually win it because he has the play. Well, you have Mbappe and Vinicius. The speed those guys have, it's insane. This season they won't win this season because it's how many games remaining?
I think five.
Probably 5.
And Barcelona won yesterday.
Barcelona won 1-0, and although they got a very bad news, Lamine Yamal is out for the rest of the season. So he got
and they don't have a backup. I think the backup winger is Ronnie Baggi,
and probably Rafinha would actually
play there. Who is also injured.
But he's gonna be coming back in May, and they have a Clasico coming up in May 10th.
Do you know one weird thing about El Clasico is that away team usually wins more than home team.
It's interesting
because Real Madrid wins a lot at the Camp Nou.
It's quite interesting.
And Barcelona wins a lot of games at the Santiago.
And Barcelona in La Liga, they haven't lost or drew any. Like they haven't lost a point in Camp Nou since they came back.
Oh,
yes.
They haven't even drew.
Not at all. They've won every single game they've played at Camp Nou.
They lost the first El Clasico. I think when the time comes, we'll talk about the El Clasico.
We will
talk about the El Clasico. So thank you guys for joining us today at Nutmegs and VR. With me here was Imran, who is an Arsenal fan. And I hope you've enjoyed that short conversation on Chelsea and the options that are available for them in that managerial position.
See you next time.
HustlesAfrica.com, a guide to high-paying online jobs. At HustlesAfrica.com, you will discover the jobs people are doing from home, the platforms where opportunities are found, the skills that open doors, and the practical steps to begin earning. Go to HustlesAfrica.com today.